There's another thing that came up when I was speaking to Chuck. We had election and some people, they didn't make it to the next step, but those people, we forgot about them, right? So the delegates are having their weekly meetings or bi-weekly meetings. Chief delegates are having their weekly meetings, but the rest of Eden, they have nothing to do. And for 6 months, we lost some of them, right?
So maybe a lot of them.
Yeah. So what do we do? What do we do for that 3-month interval? So I think I had a solution. The people that get elected, it's either you meet up with your first rounders or your second rounders and let them know what you've done. Just meet up with them, right? So they feel part of this system. And then the ones who want to do other things that did not get voted into things, or their projects did not get voted, they can join something in the community. So we have to come up with initiatives that people can join, right? So those things will allow people to become a little bit more engaged. That's number one. And number two, it will allow for the delegates to actually have some sort of accountability and responsibility, because you are meeting up with the people who voted for you to move on, right? So by doing that, you are engaging. And the people that voted for you, if they're not happy with what you are doing, they would just go on Telegram or Discord and blow a whistle, right? Talk about it. Like, this person, I voted for that person to use this money to do this, but this is what they are doing and I don't agree. So there can be a little bit of accountability and transparency there if we want to go that route.
This is an argument for more frequent than 3-month elections, essentially, because the longer we go between elections, the more people check out because they don't have anything to do if they didn't get elected. So this is where I am fundamentally more in favor, again, of like monthly. Honestly, I've really found Douglas Bootner's proposal to do bi-weekly really like on the new moon and the full moon. I thought that was pretty genius. All right, this is kind of meta.
It really is. And I don't think there's an easy solution here.
No, I have a further meta idea that I wanted to like.
Oh, you're going deeper. Okay.
Yeah.
Lead us.
Well, what if this is crazy? Just hear me out. What if there was a sub election? Like, it doesn't even have to be formal. It doesn't have to be on the smart contract. The delegate level people could essentially administer the election that would run again with all the people that weren't elected as delegates to keep them engaged in that 3-month period. Because, we're definitely missing people for sure that are not. Anytime there's a group with 2 like value creators, only one of them is going to advance, 2 or more. I think we could do like a nested secondary election potentially.
It is a losers bracket for the political playoffs.
Yeah. Yep.
Like if you think about normal playoffs having losers brackets, that's a decent analogy there.
Probably wouldn't want to market it as losers, but yeah.
That's just what do you want to do with the losers bracket when they go through?
If the goal is to keep people engaged, that would otherwise kind of like fade away. Like, oh, I'm not valued. I'm not going to stick around. It could be like a month or month. If it's a 3-month cycle, let's say it could be a month and a half after that first election. You do a secondary, or it could be like right away afterwards too. I don't know about the timing, but you could do a secondary election. And that election would basically like find those people that were kind of passed over and give them, at least give them a job, give them something to do, engage them in some way. The delegates could, it would be like the delegates' job essentially. Yeah. It would be to like the chief delegates are supposed to administer like this larger purse, but the delegates that only made it to the first round could essentially be like the community.
Or maybe
how many people have reached out to us and said, "Hey, give me a job. What can I do for the Eden community? Is there, how can I assist you guys?"
So for support, what happened was all the guys that I was in a group with, they reached out to me, and I was willing to reach out to them as well, because some of them I called them, and now they are all part of support, right? Because I told some of them that they were going to be translated. Some of them wanted to translate in Russia. Some of them, they wanted to build a community, the French community. So they are now all part of EU support, and I'm very happy about that. There's only one person that I've not been able to reach a a consensus with or a contract with, he's a writer, okay, and he's expensive. So that's the only one person that I feel like I still have to. And for him, actually, that was during trial elections. That's when I told him that if I make it and I'm able to do things, I want to reach out to you and have you do the things that you wanted to do for EOS. All right. So I think majority of the time is upon the person who wins the election to really reach out to those guys. That's what it's about. Even if you don't give them anything, like the person I'm talking about, who's the writer, he has written for me. He actually wrote my proposal for Pomelo, and he never asked for anything. You see what I'm saying?
I think
so sometimes it's about making someone become engaged.
I think if there's a good way to do it without the smart contract, I don't think that's trivial. But if it can be done, I think it's a good idea. And I think the Chiefs would happily, chip in 50, 100 EOS each to fund that. And it's just one time. If we're doing it 45 days after the election, I like that. 3 months elections, the Chiefs put in 500, 600, 700 EOS, 6 consolation Chiefs. And I think that's a good solution for the problem of losing first round Eden members.
It can be like a bounty, right? You just put it together. They'll run the election. Whoever wins it, you give them the money, and that's it.
Yeah.
To pull this back, like none of these ideas are going to be a part of the system or a part of the bylaws. They're all like the things you guys are talking about are activities that future delegates could perform.
Yeah.
Which I agree. Like if a delegate wants to, or a group of delegates wants to do this stuff, like, cool, that's awesome. But these aren't things we're going to be adding into bylaws or changing contracts or building user interfaces for, or if there is a real desire for this, and if we get the system running well and like the elections are managed or whatever, there's nothing to stop us from deploying the contract a second time and having a completely separate instance of Eden that is like, it could be that 45-day cycle that you were just talking about. And then that meta Eden could be funded by chief delegates or whatever. Like that's just redeploying the system again. Like you could do this, but it's just external of this Eden process.
Yeah.
So the approach is just this Eden is for English speakers. Those who can't speak English wait for Fractally.
Well, Fractally requires English speakers too, doesn't it?
No, it's your EOSB is in support if they can't speak English as of right now.
Cool. And Fractally is coming.
Yeah.